answer the next question in German. It's about 2 years in Germany that you absorbed yourself in that culture.
Ja, ich war 2,5 Jahre in Deutschland und nach meiner Zeit dort war ich in meiner letzte Woche nach wieder mal in England Geschichte. Es ist nicht so schön, dass ich die Sprache jetzt abgeben will. Ich habe Zeit, aber es ist jetzt nicht so easy. But that's enough for that language for a start.
Not bad at 82. From the first marriage, your first son came along and talk to me about what it was like to be a dad. How old were you when you had when Roy was born? Were you in your 30s or were you still in your 20s?
He was. I was 31.
Okay.
No, it's not true. When I was 21, that was the time we went with the Vulcan.
Yeah. Yep. Roy's about 5 years older than me.
Roy was born in 1962.
Okay, which would make you 26. You would have been 26 when Roy was born. Okay, so you're a 26-year-old, you've travelled around the world, you've got a German wife, and now you have... And Roy was born in Germany or in England?
Roy was born in Germany.
Sorry, Roy, I don't...
Roy was born in England.
Roy was born in England?
Yeah.
And now, of course, Roy... And I've asked Roy this, he certainly considers himself German. When I last time I was here, I said, do you consider yourself English or German? And he said, no, I'm German, because, of course, he spent all his... Well, he's lived in Germany. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's right.
So, what was it like being a 26-year-old dad?
Roy was born in a hospital called Nocton Hall in the UK. This was in Lincolnshire, so it wasn't too far away from Lincoln. And I'm not sure how many days that she had to stay in hospital, but the baby was born and taken back to where we lived, which was a flat in Lincoln. And the next few weeks, months, he was so young, I don't think there was any growing up at that stage. But I do remember as he grew a little bit older, 2 or 3 years old, I used to go take him into the park on a pushchair, and we'd go around the park and stop and go on the swings and things like this. So for quite a time, I suppose we were there for 2 or 3 years, and we had a lot of support from my mother. Roy used to go down and he would stay with them while I went off to some other place in the Air Force. And a number of occasions that happened. So as I say, she, even though she had this Crohn's disease, she didn't let it stop her doing things. And she even run programs to collect for charity, and
wow.
Her main one was St. Bernardo. No,
yep.
Not Bernardo, that's where we lived.
Some Bernardo's, isn't it?
Dr. Bernardo.
Okay, yeah.
Dr. Bernardo's, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she did a lot for them. And
I was unaware that your mum had that time with Roy. I was unaware of that.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
and was Barbara? How did she settle in the UK? Probably it was tough, difficult.
She
for her,
would have
or
gone anywhere. Yeah,
Okay.
she would have gone anywhere. She was quite happy to pack up and jump on the train or whatever the case may be. And of course, she also was a visitor to Singapore, because when I was in my last couple of years in the Air Force, I'd just finished in Borneo, where I'd been flying with the Whirlwind helicopters, and I had some very good pilots there, and within a short space of time they would let me control, tell me what was doing, things like this. And eventually I got to a stage where the flight training officer of the squadron, when we went out, he'd put me in the control side and let me take it off and land it and things like this. And some of those places were in the jungle, and it wasn't always easy to get anywhere. But I had a fantastic year in Borneo through working on the aircraft, on the choppers, and being able to take control of them.
And so, just so I got that straight, so and at that time, did Barbara and Roy join you in Changi in Singapore, and then you went to Borneo, or what's the timeline there? Or they didn't come with you, and
No.
they came for visits and holidays or whatever?
Borneo was a single posting,
Okay, so you were there,
so we had no choice there.
right? Singapore was...
And then once I'd finished the year in the Borneo, I was able to get a year and a half in Singapore.
Right.
And they joined me in Singapore, Barbara and Roy, they brought me to the base where we'd had housing approved, and we started this holiday, as if I can call it a holiday, in Singapore, because it is and was such a fantastic place that you could only ever enjoy yourself there.
So...
She enjoyed it thoroughly. One of the reasons I say that is that as we got to Singapore, I was promoted to sergeant, and the first night Barbara and I, we went to bingo in the sergeant's mess.
Yeah.
And would you believe it? Bingo! And of course I had to go out, and it was $250.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money it was, I tell you. Everybody was envious, and of course we were cheering the place. It was quite something there.
Welcome to Singapore, Barbara. Here's $250. That's a great place.
I can't remember what the exchange was.
Writing letters and this sort of thing, or
I
telegrams.
always wrote letter to Barbara, because they stayed in Germany until the trip to Singapore. And
so you didn't leave them back in the UK. You let Barbara went back to be around her family. Her
that's
family.
right,
Okay,
yeah.
right. Okay, so she had that her own parents' support rather than
Yeah.
relying on your
Yeah.
mum and dad. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were writing letters and then.
So
Yeah.
wrote letters, and one of the...
Was it hard to be away, or you? I mean, you probably was. I mean, you're busy with
Not
work
if you
and-
kept yourself busy.
Yeah, sure.
It was purely on a personal basis of how you organised your life.
Yeah, sure.
I never did have enough qualifications to go into flying then. I was in Singapore, and I took on the role of troubleshooter. There was, in all sort of situations, there is a number of problems that stop airplanes flying and things like this. So I learnt of a couple in Singapore. One was Meteor and one was HS-148. And the Meteor had a problem whereby once it reached 40,000 feet, the VHF would stop working. And so I put my hand up to go and fix it. And I got down there and I found that the bus bar with the 24 volts and that was not making very good contact. So while it was sitting on the ground it was okay, but as it got vibrations and went up, the UHF would stop working. So all it was a matter was cleaning up the contacts made with the bus bar, and that fixed that problem there. The other problem was on an HS-148, so I don't know whether you know that. Yep.
I think Peter might have worked on 148s. I
And
might be wrong.
that had a problem with the navigational equipment on board, and this particular system had two magnetic
Magnetometers. No.
Gosh, I can't think what that was. I'll leave that.
Yeah.
We'll come back. Had this HS-148 and the two instruments that were in this line going from the pilot's cockpit down the back. One of them was faulty, and why nobody had bothered to check it thoroughly, it had just been left to work like that, which was not good enough. So I put my hand up and said, yeah, I'll go and fix it. And I went on board, got my meter out. I think I've got the same meter today that I had all that time ago.
Wow.
And
so you became a bit of a fault finder and
with troubleshooting.
Yeah, troubleshooting. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I would have liked to have stayed doing.
Yeah.
Command. And my first job with my new squadron, and here was I starting to work for Abingdon. My first job was to wire the officers met with the tannoy system, both speakers going around there. And I thought, well, now that is quite something,
Right.
I couldn't excuse anybody that had put me in that position. It's not what I wanted. So that was a big negative to me and my thoughts on the Air Force.
Did you feel insulted? Or you thought, oh, here's my skills being wasted?
I don't think I was being insulted, but
was there
I wasn't being used properly, put it that way. All I wanted to was find out whether I could get a job if I went out.
Right.
And there were certain things then that made me decide, okay, I'll opt out.
So,
but during that time, I travelled around the UK, going on interviews with various companies to say that I was going, out of the Air Force. This was
Barbara Roy obviously come back with you.
Barbara Roy has come back with me. Again, we had a house available in Abingdon, and we went straight in there. and we were even upgraded to a new house. So there was no negatives there.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Around trying to see what was out there in the market.
Yeah, I went to Ferranti to work on the Lightning and what else? There's another one, Ferranti. Doesn't matter. Ferranti wanted me to go to the US and work on their plane, which I'm sure was a Lightning. Anyway, Manchester, I had an appointment to work with them on computers. And of course, at that time, I'd never heard of a computer.
Yeah, sure.
So it was strange to be offered. But they had seen what I'd been doing, and they were obviously happy with it. But I turned it down, like a lot of others. I had 7 jobs that I could have gone to at that time. And one was London Airport, another one was Marconi. All willing to take you on the basis of what you've been doing. Another job that was on offer was a company called IAL, International Air Radio Company, IAL. And another one was the Crown Agents. The Crown Agents were a hiring company. I think it was in London, and I'd been called down to look at getting some equipment that they had, and what I would do with it to get it operational and things like this. So that was pretty good. And IAL were so understaffed that they couldn't afford to let anybody go. You know, they wanted people on the grounds there. So it was a matter of choosing between IAL and the Crown Agents. And while I was spending that last year in the Air Force, I had been thinking about the Crown Agents, and they turned out to be my first choice of a job. And the job was in South Africa, Zimbabwe as it's called now. Rhodesia was then, and I thought, yeah, this is what I want. I'm not worried about black and white and things like this. And of course there was also this IAL. I didn't get the response from the Crown Agent to say you got the job. So I went round the corner and I accepted the IAL position.
Right.
And about 2 days before I was due to fly out to what's the island between the US and
Hawaii?
No, this side in the Indian Ocean. Mauritius.
Yeah, Mauritius, sorry. Yeah.
Mauritius. I was, and it wasn't Mauritian either. It was.
We'll come back to where it was, but anyway, you were heading out there. No?
And not ground stuff at all. All of it was aircraft electronics.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, right. So, but now you're not working on, are you still working on military aircraft, or are you working on civil aircraft now?
I'm not working at all.
No, not now. Back then with IAL.
With IAL, it was nothing to do with aircraft whatsoever.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So after you left the Air Force, it wasn't working on aircraft.
No.
That's why I asked.
No.
Yeah.
I probably did have to think about it, but anyway, I wasn't working in aircraft.
Yep.
It was a contract that the IAL had with, again, a company that was hiring to go over to the States and carry out a course where we monitored nuclear explosions.
Okay, right. Now we're back on track.
Yeah, record the things and
Yeah.
submit the information to the Americans.
And you came to Australia during that period.
But first of all, I got into IAL on the way to Australia.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And then I had someone from IAL meet me, show me where to the motel where I was going to be, which was Dianella, and of course I started a new life there.
What about your time? You spent time in, and there's another associated story with it, but you spent time in Benghazi on a BP oil installation. So here was it?
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got to get to that point. One of the things, unfortunately, for Roy and Barbara is that Barbara had always been very jealous, and it was to such an extent that anything, she would pick up on anything, and I guess that I was reasonably happy at that time, and then Barbara gave me some information that turned me against her straight away, and that is, she had a letter from me every couple of weeks or so while I was out there in Borneo, and one of her letters said, "I'm not letting Roy read these letters unless it's purely for him." And so where would I be at this stage? We're short of Borneo. I was going to Borneo, and then we came to Singapore, and then to the UK, and then IAL over to So IAL was 1968.
So you're in Perth. Barbara and Roy are in Perth with you. You're working for IAL. You're at RAF Base Pierce, aren't you?
Yes, inside the base,
RAF Pierce, but working for IAL, getting paid by IAL, monitoring the nuclear test program at the Montebello Islands up in Western Australia.
Everywhere.
Okay. And that was your first experience of living in Australia.
It was.
Okay, and Barbara and Roy were here, but things weren't working out at that stage, and you started to talk about the letters.
So the letters you know about now. We then decided to part, and Barbara, I'd had, call it an affair if you like, but I was mixed up with the woman next door. Barbara obviously didn't like it, so we parted, when she got back to the UK and she went to her mother's place. And I went over to Germany for the divorce hearing, and we had a party with Barbara's mother and father, a divorce party.
So Roy was
So
what, 10 or 11? Roy was 10, 11 or something?
68,
I remember the
and
numbers.
from 62, no, it was only 5 or 6 years old.
Right, okay. Yeah, wow.
I was going, I'd been posted from IEL in Perth to IEL in Libya, because being a security risk, you know, with bombs and things like that, they whipped me out of there straight away. Lorraine, she paid her own tickets to get to the UK where I was. So really that turned my whole life upside down, because I was not even interested in marriage or anything like that. So anyway, so I went and had this divorce hearing in German, and you know, the Richter asked me if I could follow the proceedings, and I said I'm pretty sure I can. I'll soon tell you if not. Anyway, we got through that and got an award of whatever it was, and that was the party, and then I got on a plane back to Heathrow, and the next day I went out to Gatwick and flew on a DC-10, no, not a DC-10, flew on something, out to Libya, where I was to spend 8 weeks. And this particular contract was looking after the communications and telephone equipment and, you know, various things like this. And I had a little room with air conditioning, and I had a swimming pool, but this pool was empty. They emptied it for cleaning and that. And at the end of 8 months, I had a toothache first of all, and I had to fly from Syria, which was the internal air in the jungle, not the jungle, the
Desert.
desert.
A bit different from a jungle.
Yeah.
The opposite of a jungle, a desert.
Yeah.
I've seen the photos. There's not a blade of grass with a curry.
Yeah, it was strange. But I developed toothache, and I said, look, I've got to go back to the UK and get this done. And they said, we'll fly you up to Benghazi, and then you can go to Libya, to Tripoli, and we'll have dentist see you straight away. So the next day I was on the plane in the dentist chair, yanked it out. I laid on the bed, and I remember I can see myself laying on this bed, turning, and I was then sent back to the centre of the desert to use the last few weeks out.
That was a BP oil installation, wasn't it?
That was a BP oil installation.
And at that stage, were you still involved in this nuclear testing?
No, nothing to do with it. That was purely IAL for the Americans, if you like. Had nothing to do with...
And what were you doing? Communication, setting up networks and...
Yeah, maintenance of the networks, a lot to do with telephone systems and that. And it was reasonably good, but I felt that, you know, I didn't want to stay there any longer.
Yeah.
So I came back, went into head office and said, you know, I'm who I am, and I'd like to get a change in posting from Libya to somewhere that was amenable to me. And they said, look, we're so short of people that we've got to turn you down, and another time we would have accepted, but we want you to do another turn. I'm sorry, I'm not going out there again. And so I got back to London, bought a house in Newark, put Lauren and Roy, no, Lauren.
And me and Peter. We're on the scene.
Yeah. And I can't remember why we decided to move from Newark back to Perth.
Homesickness, wasn't it?
No way.
No, not for you.
Oh, for the
Lauren.
others.
For Mum, she was home one.
Yeah, what I remember Peter tripping over a curbstone outside the train station be going on, and blood all over. It was terrible. And there was Peter
That probably
crying.
explains a few things.
So, oh boy.
All right, what we might do is we've been going a fair while, and you know, we're probably about halfway. So you want to have a break because I've got to get up and see Adam.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I don't want to hold them up, and the girls are coming over. So we can finish it off tomorrow, because after the barbecue, if you're
Yep.
and hopefully the weather might be nice, we might be able to sit outside.
Possibly.
But look, I guess it's hard to capture a lifetime in 30 or 40 minutes, or however long we've been going, but I've enjoyed it, and hope you have too. And
Yeah, I think it's been interesting.
you've done well.
I'm cold.
All right.
I'm freezing.